In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, countless alien races thrived, each boasting unique abilities and strengths. Among them, the Zarthans stood out, but not for the reasons they wished. Small in stature, with delicate blue-tinted skin and large, sad eyes, the Zarthans were seen as the weaklings of the galaxy. On their home planet, Zartha, a world of soft purple grass and towering crystal formations, the Zarthans lived in constant fear. Their planet, rich in rare minerals, attracted the greed of other, more powerful species. The Zarthans lacked the physical strength to defend themselves and their precious resources. Linny, a young Zarthan scientist, watched from her laboratory window as another raid began. Tall, muscular aliens with rough, gray skin stomped through the streets, their heavy footsteps shaking the ground. Zarthans scattered, hiding in their homes or in the shadows of the crystal towers. "We can't go on like this," Linny whispered to herself, her large eyes filling with tears. She turned to her colleague, Vex, who was hurriedly shutting down their equipment. "What choice do we have?" Vex replied, his voice trembling. "We're too weak to fight back. No one in the galaxy respects us or wants to help us." The sound of breaking crystal echoed through the air. The raiders were getting closer. Linny's mind raced, searching for a solution. She had spent years studying the various species of the galaxy, hoping to find a way to protect her people. But every time she thought she had found an answer, another, stronger race would prove her wrong. Outside, a group of Zarthans huddled together, their blue skin shimmering in the light of their planet's 3 moons. They watched helplessly as the raiders loaded their ships with stolen minerals. Some Zarthans tried to plead with the invaders, but their soft voices were drowned out by the roar of engines and cruel laughter. In the grand meeting hall of the Galactic Council, representatives from hundreds of alien races gathered. The room buzzed with different languages, and the rustle of various body types shifting in their seats. At the center stood Cax, the Zarthan ambassador, his small frame dwarfed by the massive podium. "Please," Cax begged, his voice barely audible in the large chamber. "Our people suffer. We need protection. We ask for help from our galactic neighbors." The room fell silent for a moment before erupting into laughter. A large, tentacled creature spoke up, its voice booming. "The Zarthans ask for protection. What do they offer in return? They are weak, useless. They should be grateful we only take their minerals, and not their lives." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Cax's shoulders slumped, his hope fading. He looked around the room, searching for any sign of sympathy, but found none. As Cax left the council chambers, he overheard 2 representatives talking. "Did you hear? There's a new race that's joined the galactic community. They call themselves humans." "Humans? Never heard of them. Are they strong?" "Not particularly. But there's something different about them. They're unpredictable." Cax's antenna perked up at this information. A new race. Perhaps they would be more understanding of the Zarthans' plight. But he quickly pushed the thought aside. Why would these humans be any different from the others? Back on Zartha, as the raiders finally left, the Zarthans emerged from their hiding places. They gathered in the central plaza, surrounded by broken crystals and trampled purple grass. Linny stood among them, her mind still racing with possible solutions. An elder spoke up, his voice weak but determined. "We cannot continue like this. Our planet, our home, is being stripped away. We must find a way to survive." Murmurs of agreement spread through the crowd, but agreement was not enough. They needed action, a plan. Linny stepped forward, her heart pounding. "I have an idea," she said, her voice stronger than she felt. "It's risky, and it might seem crazy, but I think it's our only hope." The crowd turned to her, their large eyes filled with a mix of fear and desperate hope. Linny took a deep breath and continued. "We need to leave Zartha. We need to find a new home, somewhere in the unexplored regions of the galaxy. Somewhere we can be safe." Gasps and whispers erupted from the gathering. "Leave their home. Travel into unknown space. It was a terrifying prospect. But as they looked around at their ravaged world, at the fear on each other's faces, a new emotion began to take hold. Determination. The Zarthans, long dismissed as the weakest race in the galaxy, were about to embark on the greatest journey of their lives. Little did they know that this journey would lead them to an unexpected ally, a species that would change their fate forever. Humans. The Zarthan exodus began under the cover of darkness. Hundreds of small, sleek ships rose silently from the purple plains of Zartha, carrying the hopes and fears of an entire race. Linny stood at the command center of the lead ship, her large eyes reflecting the stars that would soon become their new home. "All ships report ready," Vex said, his voice tense with excitement and fear. "We're ready to jump into hyperspace on your command." Linny took a deep breath. This was it. There was no turning back now. "Initiate jump," she ordered. In a flash of brilliant light, the Zarthan fleet disappeared from their home system, leaving behind the only world they had ever known. The journey through unexplored space was perilous. The Zarthans faced challenges they had never imagined. Their ships, designed for short planetary trips, struggled with the rigors of deep space travel. On the 15th day, alarms blared throughout the fleet. A massive asteroid field loomed ahead, its rocks spinning dangerously in the void. "We can't go around it," Vex shouted over the noise. "We don't have enough fuel." Linny's mind raced. The Zarthans had always been known for their weakness, but she knew they had one strength: their ability to work together. "Link all ship's computers," she commanded. "We'll navigate this field as one." The asteroid field became a deadly dance. Hundreds of Zarthan pilots, linked through their ship systems, moved in perfect synchronization. They weaved between the spinning rocks, their coordination allowing them to predict and avoid collisions with uncanny precision. As they emerged on the other side, a cheer went up across the fleet. For the first time, the Zarthans felt a glimmer of pride in their unique abilities. But their trials were far from over. As they ventured deeper into unknown space, food and water began to run low. The Zarthans, used to the lush vegetation of their homeworld, now faced the harsh reality of space rationing. On a small scout ship, a young Zarthan named Zix made an exciting discovery. He found that the ship's waste recycling system, when modified, could produce a nutrient-rich paste. It tasted terrible, but it could sustain them. Word of Zix's invention spread quickly through the fleet. Soon, every ship was converting their systems, turning a potential disaster into a lifeline. As they traveled further, they encountered other dangers. Strange energy storms buffeted their ships, threatening to tear them apart. Unknown diseases spread through the close quarters, challenging their medical knowledge. But with each obstacle, the Zarthans found new strengths within themselves. They adapted, innovated, and survived. On the 60th day of their journey, when hope was beginning to fade, they received an unexpected signal. A small rocky planet appeared on their scanners, its atmosphere similar to Zartha's. As they approached, excitement rippled through the fleet. Could this be their new home? Linny led the first landing party. As the ship's door opened, she stepped out onto the planet's surface. The gravity was stronger than Zartha's, making her feel heavy and clumsy. The air was thinner, forcing her to take deep breaths. But it was breathable. "We can survive here," she announced to the anxious crowd waiting in the ships. The Zarthans cheered, relief washing over them. They had found a safe haven, a place to rest and rebuild. But as they began to set up their first colony, Vex made a startling discovery. The planet's strange magnetic field had fried most of their long-range communication equipment during the landing. "We're cut off," he told Linny, his voice heavy with worry. "We can't contact the fleet still in orbit, let alone anyone else in the galaxy." Linny looked up at the alien sky, a mix of emotions swirling inside her. They were safe for now, but they were also alone. Completely alone in an unknown part of the galaxy. As night fell on their first day on the new planet, Linny gathered the colonists. "We've faced many challenges to get here," she said, her voice carrying across the quiet crowd. And we will face many more. But we've discovered something important on this journey. We are not weak. We are survivors. The Zarthans nodded in agreement, standing a little taller despite their exhaustion. Little did they know that their greatest adventure was yet to come. For not far from their new home, another race was about to make a discovery that would change everything. A race called humans. 6 months had passed since the Zarthans landed on their new home, which they named Haven. They had built a small but thriving colony, adapting to the planet's stronger gravity and thinner air. Linny, now the colony's leader, stood atop a hill overlooking their settlement, her large eyes scanning the horizon. Suddenly, a young Zarthan named Kip came running towards her, out of breath and excited. Linny, we've picked up a signal." Linny's antenna twitched in surprise. "A signal? From where?" "From space," Kip exclaimed. "It's not one of our ships. It's something else." Heart racing, Linny rushed to the communication center. Vex was hunched over a console, his fingers flying across the controls. "What do we know?" Linny asked. Vex looked up, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. "It's a ship, unlike any we've seen before. And it's heading straight for Haven." The news spread quickly through the colony. Some Zarthans wanted to hide, fearing it might be one of the aggressive races they had fled from. Others were curious, hoping for a friendly encounter. Linny made a decision. "We'll meet them openly," she announced, "but we'll be prepared for anything." As the alien ship entered Haven's atmosphere, the Zarthans gathered in the main square, watching the sky with nervous anticipation. The ship that appeared was sleek and silver, much larger than their own vessels. It landed in a field just outside the colony. For a few tense moments, nothing happened. Then, with a hiss of hydraulics, a door opened. A figure stepped out, and gasps rippled through the crowd of Zarthans. The alien was tall, much taller than them, with a sturdy build and only 2 arms. Its skin was in shades of brown and pink, and it had hair on top of its head. "Greetings," the alien said, its voice deep and resonant. "We come in peace. We are humans from the planet Earth." Linny stepped forward, her heart pounding. "Welcome to Haven," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "We are the Zarthans." The human smiled, showing white teeth. "My name is Captain Alex Chen. We've been exploring this sector of space and picked up signs of your colony. We were surprised to find you here." More humans emerged from the ship, each looking slightly different from the others. The Zarthans murmured among themselves, fascinated by the diversity. Over the next few days, the Zarthans and humans began to learn about each other. The humans were shocked to hear about the Zarthans' journey and the reasons behind it. "You mean to say," Captain Chen asked during a meeting with Linny and the colony's leaders, "that the other races in the galaxy treated you badly because they thought you were weak?" Linny nodded sadly. "We have always been seen as less than others. That's why we had to leave our home." The humans exchanged looks of disbelief and anger. "That's not right," one of them said firmly. "Where we come from, we believe in protecting those who need help, not bullying them." This concept was new to the Zarthans. In their experience, the strong always dominated the weak. The idea that strength could be used to protect was revolutionary. As the days passed, the humans shared more about their culture and beliefs. They told stories of their own history, of times when some humans had oppressed others, but also of how they had fought against such injustices. The Zarthans were fascinated. They had never encountered a species quite like humans before. Despite not being the strongest or fastest in the galaxy, humans had a unique strength of spirit that the Zarthans admired. One evening, as Linny and Captain Chen watched Haven's twin moons rise, Chen turned to her with a serious expression. "Linny," he said, "we've been talking among ourselves. We want to offer you and your people something." Linny's antenna perked up with interest. "What is it?" "We want to offer you an alliance," Chen said. "Earth is not too far from here. We can provide you with protection, help you establish proper interstellar communications, and support your colony's growth. In return, we'd like to learn from you, to understand more about the galaxy and the races in it. Lini was stunned. An alliance? Protection. It seemed too good to be true. Why would you do this for us? She asked. Chen smiled warmly. Because it's the right thing to do. And because we believe that every race, no matter how seemingly weak, has something valuable to offer. We humans have learned that true strength comes in many forms. As Lini looked out at her thriving colony, then back at the kind face of the human captain, she felt something she hadn't experienced in a long time. Hope. The Zarthan's journey wasn't over, but perhaps they had finally found the friends they had always needed. The news of the Human-Zarthan alliance spread quickly through the colony on Haven. At first, many Zarthans were cautious, their past experiences making them wary of other species. But as the days passed and the humans continued to show kindness and respect, the Zarthans began to relax. One sunny morning, a group of human scientists arrived on Haven. They brought with them strange devices and equipment that fascinated the Zarthans. Lini watched as Dr. Sarah Wong, the lead human scientist, set up a large machine in the colony's central square. What does this do? Lini asked, her large eyes reflecting the blinking lights on the device. Dr. Wong smiled. This is a long-range communication array, she explained. With this, you'll be able to contact Earth and other human colonies. No more isolation for your people. As the humans worked, Vex approached Lini, his antenna twitching nervously. Are you sure we can trust them? He whispered. What if this is all a trick? Lini understood his concern. Trust didn't come easily to their people anymore. We have to give them a chance, she said softly. They've shown us nothing but kindness so far. Just then, Captain Chen walked up, a serious look on his face. Lini, Vex, we need to talk, he said. We've received some concerning news from our home. In the colony's meeting hall, Chen explained the situation. Other alien races have noticed our interactions with you, he said. They're not happy about it. Some are demanding that we stop helping you immediately. A chill ran through the room. The Zarthans remembered all too well the cruelty of other species. What will you do? Lini asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Chen's face hardened with determination. We stand by our allies, he said firmly. We've informed our government of your situation. They agree that what happened to your people is unacceptable. We're not backing down. Relief and gratitude washed over the Zarthans. For the first time in their history, they had found true allies. Over the next few weeks, humans and Zarthans worked side by side. The humans were impressed by the Zarthans' ability to work together seamlessly, their natural talent for cooperation making complex tasks look easy. One day, as Lini was helping Dr. Wong calibrate the communication array, an alarm sounded from the human ship. Captain Chen rushed out, his face pale. We've detected multiple ships entering the system, he announced. They're not human. Panic spread through the colony. The Zarthans began to rush around, preparing to hide or flee. But Chen's voice cut through the chaos. No one is running, he said firmly. We face this together. As the alien ships drew closer, something unexpected happened. The communication array, now fully operational, crackled to life. A voice spoke, not in the Zarthan language or in English, but in a galactic standard that Lini recognized from her days as a scientist on Zartha. Attention human vessels, the voice said. This is the Galactic Council. You are ordered to cease all contact with the Zarthan species immediately. Chen looked at Lini, his jaw set. What do you want to do? He asked. Lini felt a strength she had never known before. With humans standing beside them, the Zarthans were no longer alone and helpless. She stepped up to the communication array and pressed the transmit button. This is Lini of the Zarthan people, she said, her voice clear and strong. We do not recognize your authority over us or our human allies. We are not the weak race you once knew. We have found our strength, and we have found friends who value us for who we are." A stunned silence followed her words. Then Chen stepped up beside her. "This is Captain Alex Chen of Earth," he added. "The Zarthans are under our protection. Any action against them will be considered an act of war against humanity." As they waited for a response, Lenny looked around at her people. Gone was the fear that had haunted their eyes for so long. In its place was a new emotion: pride. The Zarthans stood tall, ready to face whatever came next. The Galactic Council's response, when it came, would shape the future not just of the Zarthans and humans, but of the entire galaxy. A new era was dawning, one where the definition of strength was about to change forever. The days following the confrontation with the Galactic Council were tense on Haven. The Zarthans and their human allies waited anxiously for a response, unsure if they would face an attack or further threats. But as time passed and no immediate danger appeared, life in the colony slowly returned to normal. During this period of uneasy peace, something remarkable began to happen. The humans, true to their word, started helping the Zarthans discover and develop abilities they never knew they had. Dr. Wong was working in her lab one day when she noticed something odd. Zix, the young Zarthan who had invented the nutrient paste during their space journey, was assisting her. As Zix reached for a tool, it seemed to move slightly towards his hand before he touched it. "Zix," Dr. Wong said excitedly, "can you do that again?" Confused, Zix repeated the motion. This time, both he and Dr. Wong watched in amazement as the tool wobbled and then slowly lifted off the table, floating towards Zix's outstretched hand. News of Zix's ability spread quickly through the colony. Other Zarthans, encouraged by this discovery, began to experiment. They found that with concentration, many of them could move small objects without touching them. "It's a form of telekinesis," Dr. Wong explained to a gathered crowd. "Your species has latent psychic abilities that you've never had the chance to develop." Lenny was astounded. "But why didn't we know about this before?" Captain Chen, who had been listening, offered a theory. "Maybe it's because you were always told you were weak," he suggested. "You never had the confidence to explore your true potential." The revelation energized the Zarthan community. Under the guidance of the human scientists, they began to train and strengthen their newfound abilities. Some Zarthans could move larger objects, while others developed the ability to sense emotions or even communicate telepathically over short distances. But it wasn't just psychic powers that the Zarthans were discovering. Their natural ability to work together seamlessly took on new meaning when combined with their human allies' technology. One day, a group of Zarthans was helping to repair a damaged section of the human ship. As they worked, their movements became perfectly synchronized, almost as if they were sharing one mind. The humans watched in awe as complex repairs that should have taken days were completed in hours. "It's like they're a living supercomputer," one of the human engineers remarked. "When they work together like that, their problem-solving abilities are off the charts." As the Zarthans grew more confident in their abilities, they began to see their past experiences in a new light. Their history of running and hiding from stronger races had honed their skills in stealth and evasion. Their small size, once seen as a weakness, made them excellent at delicate, precise tasks that larger species struggled with. Lenny realized that what they had always seen as weaknesses were actually strengths in disguise. The Zarthans' gentle nature and empathy, combined with their newfound psychic abilities, made them natural diplomats and mediators. One evening, as Lenny and Captain Chen watched the Zarthans practicing their telekinesis in the colony's main square, Chen turned to her with a smile. "You know," he said, "I think the galaxy has seriously underestimated the Zarthans." Lenny nodded, feeling a swell of pride. "We underestimated ourselves too," she replied. "Thank you for helping us see our true potential." But their moment of peace was interrupted by a sudden commotion. Vex came running towards them, his antenna quivering with excitement. "Lenny, Captain," he called out, "we've just picked up a transmission from the Galactic Council. They want to open negotiations. The news sent a ripple of excitement and nervousness through the crowd. The Galactic Council, which had once dismissed the Zarthans as weak and useless, now wanted to talk. It was a moment that would define the future of both the Zarthans and their human allies. As Lenny looked at the hopeful faces of her people and the determined expressions of their human friends, she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The Zarthans were no longer the galaxy's outcasts. They were a force to be reckoned with, ready to take their place among the stars. The stage was set for a confrontation that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. And at the center of it all were the once shunned Zarthans and the humans who had seen their true worth. The day of the negotiation with the Galactic Council arrived. Haven's sky was filled with ships from various alien races, their hulls gleaming in the planet's twin suns. The once quiet colony now buzzed with activity and tension. In the center of the colony, a large dome had been erected for the meeting. Inside, representatives from dozens of alien races sat in tiered seats, their eyes fixed on the central platform where the Zarthans and humans would make their case. Lenny stood at the entrance, her heart racing. Captain Chen placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Remember," he said softly, "you're not alone anymore." As they walked in, Lenny could hear the whispers and murmurs from the alien delegates. Many were seeing Zarthans for the first time in years, and they were surprised by the change. Gone was the cowering, timid race they remembered. In its place stood proud, confident beings walking side by side with humans. The head of the Galactic Council, a tall, multi-limbed being named Zorn, called the meeting to order. "We are here," Zorn's voice boomed, "to address the unprecedented alliance between humans and Zarthans. This union has caused concern among many council members." Lenny stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. "Respected council," she began. "For too long, the Zarthans were dismissed as weak and useless. We were exploited, our homes stripped of resources, our people treated as less than nothing." A ripple of discomfort passed through the alien delegates. Some looked away, guilt evident in their postures. "But we are not weak," Lenny continued. "With the help of our human friends, we have discovered strengths we never knew we had." To demonstrate, Lenny raised her hand. Several objects around the room began to float, drawing gasps from the audience. Other Zarthans joined in, their combined telekinetic power creating a dazzling display. Captain Chen stepped up next. "The humans of Earth believe in the potential of all sentient beings," he stated firmly. "We've seen firsthand the amazing abilities of the Zarthans. Their empathy, their unity, their newfound psychic powers. These are valuable assets to any galactic community." Zorn leaned forward, intrigued. "And what of the humans? You are newcomers to the galactic stage. Why should we trust your judgment?" Chen smiled. "Because we bring a fresh perspective. We see value where others see weakness, and we're not afraid to stand up for what's right, even against overwhelming odds." This statement caused an uproar among the delegates. Some shouted about human arrogance, while others seemed impressed by their boldness. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the dome. A frantic aide rushed in, whispering urgently to Zorn. The council leader's face paled. "We've just received word," Zorn announced, "that a dangerous space anomaly is heading towards this system. Our scientists predict it could destroy several planets, including Haven." Panic erupted in the chamber. Delegates began shouting, some already rushing towards their ships. But amidst the chaos, Lenny and Chen exchanged a determined look. "We can help," Lenny said, her voice cutting through the noise. "The combined abilities of the Zarthans, along with human technology, might be able to divert the anomaly." Zorn looked skeptical. "How?" Chen quickly explained a plan. The humans' advanced ships could get close to the anomaly, while the Zarthans' telekinetic powers, amplified by human technology, could potentially alter its course. It was a desperate plan, but it was the only hope they had. As the delegates watched in awe, human ships took off, carrying teams of Zarthans. The entire colony joined in, focusing their psychic energy towards the sky. On view screens, they could see the massive anomaly, a swirling vortex of destructive energy, bearing down on their system. Hours passed in tense silence. The anomaly drew closer and closer. Just when all seemed lost, the view screens showed the impossible. The anomaly was changing course, slowly but surely moving away from the inhabited planets. A cheer went up from the gathered aliens. They had just witnessed the combined power of humans and Zarthans save billions of lives. As the danger passed and the human Zarthan teams returned, Zorn approached Linny and Chen. The council leader's expression was one of humility and respect. "It seems," Zorn said slowly, "that we have much to learn from both your peoples. Perhaps it's time for the Galactic Council to reconsider its definitions of strength and value." Linny and Chen shared a triumphant smile. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged victorious. The galaxy would never be the same again. In the months following the space anomaly incident, the galaxy underwent a remarkable transformation. The story of how the once shunned Zarthans and their human allies had saved billions of lives spread rapidly, capturing the imagination of countless beings across the stars. On Haven, life had changed dramatically. The small colony had grown into a thriving city, with towering crystal spires reminiscent of the Zarthans' homeworld standing alongside sleek human buildings. Ships from dozens of alien races now regularly visited the planet, eager to learn from this unique partnership. Linny stood on a balcony overlooking the city, marveling at how far they had come. Captain Chen joined her, a smile on his face. "It's amazing, isn't it?" he said, gesturing at the busy streets below where Zarthans, humans, and various alien visitors mingled freely. Linny nodded, her large eyes shining with pride. "I never imagined we could achieve so much in such a short time." Their conversation was interrupted by Vex, who rushed in with excitement. "Linny, Captain, the first group of Zarthan diplomats is ready to depart for their missions." This was a day they had long prepared for. After witnessing the Zarthans' empathic abilities and talent for mediation, many worlds had requested their help in resolving conflicts. It was a complete reversal of their former status in the galaxy. In the spaceport, a group of young Zarthans prepared to board their ships. Among them was Zix, the inventor of the nutrient paste who had first discovered their telekinetic abilities. Now he was leading a team to a distant system to help negotiate peace between warring factions. As Linny addressed the departing diplomats, her voice swelled with emotion. "Remember," she said, "our strength lies not in domination, but in understanding. You carry with you the hopes of our people and the wisdom we've gained through our struggles and triumphs." The Zarthans nodded solemnly, their antennae quivering with a mix of nervousness and determination. As they boarded their ships, cheers erupted from the watching crowd. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Dr. Wong was leading a seminar for scientists from across the galaxy. The topic: the untapped potential of psychic abilities in various species. The revelation of the Zarthans' powers had sparked a new field of study, with researchers eager to explore similar latent abilities in other races. "The Zarthans have taught us a valuable lesson," Dr. Wong explained to her rapt audience. "No species is truly weak. Each has unique strengths waiting to be discovered and nurtured." As Haven continued to grow and thrive, it became a symbol of a new way of thinking in the galaxy. The Galactic Council, once dismissive of lesser races, had undergone significant reforms. New policies were put in place to protect and support developing species, inspired by the human model of assistance. One sunny day, a grand ceremony was held in the center of Haven's capital. Zorn, the leader of the Galactic Council, stood before a massive crowd of Zarthans, humans, and representatives from countless alien races. "Today," Zorn announced, his voice echoing across the square, "we officially recognize the Zarthan-Human Alliance as full members of the Galactic Council. Their unique partnership and extraordinary contributions to our galaxy have earned them this honor." The crowd erupted in cheers. Linny and Captain Chen stepped forward to accept the official seal of council membership, their faces beaming with pride. As the celebration continued into the night, with music and laughter filling the air, Linny found a quiet moment to reflect. She thought back to the desperate flight from their home world, the years of fear and uncertainty, and the fateful day when they first encountered humans. "We've come so far," she murmured to herself. Captain Chen appeared at her side, as if sensing her thoughts. "And we've only just begun," he said with a smile. "Think of all the wonders waiting for us out there, all the lives we can touch, all the differences we can make." Linny nodded, feeling a surge of excitement for the future. The Zarthens had found more than just safety with humans. They had found a new purpose, a new identity, and a new hope for the entire galaxy. As the twin moons of Haven rose in the sky, casting a soft light over the celebrating city, Linny knew that this was more than just a happy ending. It was the beginning of a grand adventure, one that would span stars and generations. The once shunned Zarthens, together with their human allies, were ready to face whatever challenges the vast, mysterious universe might bring. In the end, they had proven that true strength comes in many forms, and that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe is simply the willingness to see the best in others and in oneself.